We'll call this meeting to order. Young County Commissioners Court, the regular meeting, Monday, September 22nd, 2014. I have 9:31 a.m. Let it be known that this meeting notice was given in a manner and for the time required that all members of the board are present. If it's convenient, please stand. Invitation. Go pray with you. Our Father in heaven, thank you for this day and for the many blessings that you bring to us. We're grateful for the moisture that you have seen fit to send to us, and we pray and ask that you provide much more. If it be in your will, please do so quickly. We want to ask your blessings upon those of our numbers who have lost loved ones, who are hurting and grieving because of such actions and such loss. And we pray that your wing of comfort will be on them. We're grateful for this country and for this nation, for this state, and the opportunity that we have to serve those who have seated us for the business of the public. We ask your blessings now as we continue this meeting, and that the decisions that we make be in the best interest of our citizens and in accordance with your will. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Okay. We have a group out there. If they're ready, we'll come right on up here and get around behind this place right here. With the ladies. Come on, guys. Don't be afraid. There's only one here that might, I'm not telling you who he is. One of the brown jackets.
I'll do the pictures first, I guess.
Yeah. You wouldn't be in the picture. Y'all do.
Oh, I'm good.
Sure? Y'all do.
Yes.
British secrets today.
Okay, now.
Don't smile. Saturday, maybe.
No, run off here.
He's a choreographer.
This is the 2014 National 4-H Week Proclamation. Is that right? I would either your advisor or one of you young folks read this proclamation.
Sir, President Lincoln Kent.
Very well. Loudly.
Whereas the Young County Commissioners Court is proud to honor the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for the 107 years of providing experience-based education to youngsters throughout the Lone Star State. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for the whole child, including head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And whereas it's more than 535,000 urban, suburban, and rural youth participants, ranging in age from 8 to 19, hail from diverse ethnic, socioeconomic backgrounds, and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today, were it not for the service of its more than 23,000 volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources to the youth of Texas. And whereas throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans through its innovative and inspiring programs, continue to build characters, and to instill the values that have made our state strong and great. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the 11th of October that the Young County Commissioners Court hereby designates October 5th through 11th, 2014 as National 4-H Week in Texas, and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the many men and women who have made the program a success.
Thank you. Very good. We'll gladly and proudly sign this proclamation. And just a little note statement. I began my 4-H career in 1959, and it's been strong in Young County. All of my experience there primarily was livestock showing activities and equine related activities, but they've got many more programs than that. They've got dressmaking and home economics and food preparation, public speaking, debate, many different kinds of activities. That's a great program. It's been strong in Young County for a long time. I gladly honor 4-H in this way. Anybody else have anything to say?
Well, we got a real good group of adult leaders in this county, and they've bonded together and put on fundraisers, and anybody that wants to join 4-H has their membership paid for by this group of people.
I also would like to say that I started my career the same year you did, Judge, 59 with 4-H. And I'll add that any leadership qualities I might have developed at an early age came from 4-H and the Boy Scouts of America. And I'm proud to be a member of both, and I urge everyone who can let their youngster become a member of the 4-H. Leadership is excellent. I was blessed to be raised in rural Texas with the 4-H program available to me. And again, I congratulate all these young people on their endeavors. Thank you.
Just want to say thank you for all y'all's continued support, and something that was definitely say with our volunteer leaders in Young County. We have over 25 direct volunteers that we work regularly, so we are very blessed to have those adult leaders. Chris Kim, of course, being one of ours, and she helps in multiple capacities. So, without our volunteers, our programs would not be a success. So we do appreciate them and y'all for your support.
You know, I work for it.
You're welcome.
I work for it every day. The kids that come out of the 4-H, they make a big difference in the employers. They see how they're well mannered, well behaved, and how they got good work ethics. You know, 4-H is also something that teaches them how to think, how to take a task and carry it through. There's a lot of kids out here in the world today that don't know how to do that. And I think that 4-H has been a big part of that. Very big.
We are currently working on our Young County Ag Admissions Program, which the kids will travel down actually next Sunday to meet with the college, to take a tour of the campus, and to meet with their specific department heads that they're interested in, time before college. And it's interesting how many young or county 4-H members that have that experience in their resume, they actually put their resume above everybody else's because it incorporates so many different skills in so many different areas versus just one in one specific organization. So it's been a huge blessing. So and just so you know, Title I, we have 55 families or 55 children and parents traveling to A&M next week. So keep writing them in your prayers.
Congratulations.
Thank
Mike,
you.
if you'll have my assistant make a copy of that, deliver it to our clerk here, we'll have them record that, have her record that as we do this meeting. Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 3, is there any other comments or public presentations?
Yeah, actually, I do want to say something. I did finish my C-TERS project, met on Chapel Road, 4.13 miles of chip seal. I appreciate other commissioners helping me on that, but we are finished as of Friday. It's been done. First one in Young County.
You turn in the invoices.
No, I'm still waiting on my invoice from Little,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna submit them on that.
I know the auditor's gonna be looking forward to that.
She was excited about that.
Teeny?
The thing that keep the commissioners out in the middle of the Odessa area in their thoughts and prayers because they got some messed up roads up there. They're gonna have to take care of this last flooding event. So, oil field trucks buried up to their axles in the bar ditch.
Well, though I wouldn't want that, I sure would like to have that rain.
I understand.
Maybe I'd wish that sheriff with it a little bit.
70-something miles south of Lubbock had 14.5 inches.
Brad's gonna be bringing that in.
They should come down. Tommy said the rest is coming up.
Yeah, he said the river. I was across the river on Saturday and there at Newcastle twice, once going to come in. You know, it wasn't down then. Well, I mean, the evidence is running a little bit, but it was just kind of a little trickle zigzagging across the middle of the bed.
14.5 inches ought to make it come up.
Yeah, it was that. Okay, item number 4, consider the county clerk minutes from previous meeting on September the 8th, 2015. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
So moved.
I think that the correction was made already.
Yeah, it's already been there.
So they're correct. Second.
You, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All in favor? Carried 5-0. Item number, well, let's stop right there just a minute and move down to item number 10. If we will, that's going to be our annual audit. Mr. Kenneth Surveil and our auditor, Cheryl Roberts. Consider FY 2013 audit. Virgil Quinn and copy.
Judge said I'm Ken Savell. If you have any questions as we go through this a little bit, just feel free to ask them. If you any time to stop me. You'll turn in 2 or 3 pages to page 2. Start on page 1. You'll see it's our independent auditor's report we issue on these financial statements. These financial statements for September 30th, 2013. Page 2 is our actual opinion right there at the top under the little subheading opinions. I'm going to read to you for just a second. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate of remaining fund information of Young County, Texas as of September 30th, 2013, and the respective changes in financial position and workplace
applicable cash flows thereof for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Keywords are present fairly. We don't have any problems with these financial statements that they would mislead someone if they relied on them, that they fairly present the position of the county as of September 30th. Excuse me. Y'all bear with me, I've got a cold. I apologize. If you'll turn way over to the back, page 35, you see our second report. And this is our report on the internal control over financial reporting and compliance. And the very last, well, the next to the very last sentence on that page is reporting on the internal control, and it says, during our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses. And then the next page is reporting on the compliance portion, and it simply says, first paragraph, the last sentence, the results of our test disclose no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. So you can see that we have a clean audit, the opinions are unmodified, and that it presents a good picture of the county. Over on page 9, let's go back towards the front, is the beginning of our financial statements. As you know, the first two pages, 9 and 10 here, are the full accrual financial statements. We now have to present full accrual and modified accrual statements, and the first two are the full accrual. You see there that we have the first is your statement of net position, which gives you your assets and liabilities. Big numbers on that, I guess, is your land, buildings, machinery, so forth. If you add all of those together, you get about $18,893,509. That's less accumulated depreciation. So. And then down at the bottom, kind of the offset to those, there's bonds payable current, which is $545,000, and then right down towards the bottom there's bonds payable long term, which is $6,115,000. So as of September 30th, you had outstanding bonds of $6,660,000, and you had outstanding lease purchase payables $1,246,374. If you had those two, so your debt service is about $7,800,000 thereabouts. To the offset of that, at the very top, you see cash and certificates of deposit. You had the $3,944,000 and the $2,530,000. You get about $6,474,000 as of September 30th in cash and CDs. So the situation in the county is very favorable. Down at the bottom, next to the last number there, is an unrestricted net position, and that just tells you the money that was available as of September 30th for current expenditures and current operating was $6,143,593. The next page just shows the expenditures and revenues for the year ended September 30th, 2013. And the third number from the bottom is the key number on that page. It's the change in net position. Y'all used about $84,000 of fund balance under the full accrual system last year, more than you took in.
Where's that number?
Third number from the bottom, negative 84.
Still area there.
I'm sorry.
Well, he's kind of cheap, he's got his eye.
That's right, I already have mine marked. Maybe I'll give y'all one of these marked up. The next page is the modified accrual, and we're back to where we were before. Only difference here is they take out the long-term debt and they take out the capital items, the buildings and so forth, and the depreciation. It's handled a little differently. Like I said, we don't have the depreciation expense and so forth. So you'll have different, outcomes. But the total fund balance for the general fund over here is $5,526,342. And you turn page, 2 pages, I think. You can see the revenues and expenditures for that year under the modified accrual. And you'll see down at the bottom of the page, third number from the bottom, and I've got it highlighted on mine, but that's where it's at. Under the modified accrual, it shows that you use $386,802 of the general fund. That's a negative, 334 total. Now that's, that's what you use in fund balance. And this sheet shows more of the actual cash expenditures. Doesn't have the depreciation and those type of things put into this. So that's probably a clearer picture of how much you did in the fund balance in 13.
So if this were a business, you'd say we lost money last year?
I'd say that you used some of your savings last year.
This was our
And that's the
project.
choice.
Expenses exceeded revenue.
And mostly that was the work that was done on the county, the courthouse. I think you expended about 400 and something thousand on that, or somewhere around that number. So, that was basically, you took some of your savings and said, hey, we need to make some repairs. But yes, yes, you expended more than you took in. That's what your estimate is. We go back just a second to A3 here. It's over on page, not A3, A4. It's on page 12. I just want to point this out to you. I'm not going to go through the detail, but if you're wondering the difference between modified accrual and full accrual, these two numbers, take those and reconcile them. We take the modified accrual and we tie it back to the other, show the differences in there, such as depreciation, capital items, things like that. We do the same thing for the revenue expenditures over on page 14. I'm not going to go through all the differences. We talked about the main ones, but I want you to know that it is in there, and if you can, hide all that. Starting over on page 16 is our notes to the financial statement. Nothing really on that page, just the beginning of the notes, but I do want to point out a couple of notes in here that you skim through. Get on back a ways. I wanted to look at the, over on page 22, you can see the capital assets. Shows that we started with 19 million, we wound up with about 18,900. And the difference of that, of course, is depreciation over the years. Pretty good depreciation on some of the buildings and so forth.
Did you take anything from the old jail, the demolition of the old jail?
I think we wrote it off. I don't remember.
But it's kind of this year.
I think that was this year, not
It's
last
this
year.
year.
I think that's that. I think it's that we talked about it, but we didn't touch it out. We're going to do this year. But,
And those will change next year.
yes, considerably. Yeah, we discussed that, but we did not write it off. You're exactly right. Apologize for that. On 23, you can see the long-term obligations, some of them. The first part down on that bottom is your lease purchase agreements as they've changed over the years. Again, you started with $1.2 million, you wound up with $1,246,000, so it went down about $40,000 for the year. I know y'all did quite a bit of refinancing in 13. So some of those are just paying off one and then picking up another one. But anyway, made a little progress on this. And then the next page gives you the bond payments. You started with $7,180,000 and wound up to $6,660,000. So you're making progress on the bonds. And then that very last group of numbers down on page 24 is debt service requirements all combined. I mean, the bonds, the 6,660,000, the one above it is the leases, all broken down by year with interest. The other thing I had was I wanted to talk a minute over here on page 32, your budget actual statement. Excuse me. Down towards the bottom of the page, and I know it's too late to do anything to that 15, but eventually 14, 15. Eventually, down towards the bottom, you can see where I have debt service, principal, and interest. And in the budget column, there's not anything. In the past, we've always included all of our debt service in with capital or equipment expenditures. We just put it all in one fund or one function and budgeted it that way. So everything for equipment, whether it was debt service or whether it was a new purchase, was all in the same line. Because at the time when we used to do that, there wasn't much lease purchase. It was just all pretty much purchases. But now that we're beginning to have more lease purchases, I'd like to see the court split that out of just equipment and make equipment purchases and debt service payments and debt service interest payments in your new bond, in your new budgets. Just
We
because.
talked about that, it's too late for 14, but on the next year, we'll have, I'll create a new line just for interest in your equipment.
It's just, it's a little more detail in our budget.
So we'll just be detailing the number that we've already got in our budget, breaking it down.
Absolutely. It's not gonna change your budget, it just details it in a little more, which makes it easier for us to understand. It's just a preference of mine. And that's all I have, unless y'all have questions.
Not broke yet.
Not broke yet.
Would you loan money to this organization? I don't think you'll have any trouble getting somebody to loan you money.
Pay it back. That's not a problem with y'all.
And I don't know if it's,
There you go.
Thank you.
see, I think I sent this, you can, this is our rating for Standard & Poor's.
I'll have that and get you it soon.
Okay, and, it's still good, I think it's still 84. This is on our bonds.
I'll be amazed if it wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't see on this part of it, but it's still an A. Yeah, here it is, affirmed it's an A+, and underlined.
If y'all don't get an A plus, no one does. I can tell you that.
I'm gonna put that.
Okay.
Properly. I'd entertain a motion to accept the audit as presented by Kenneth Bell.
So we're
Okay.
Second.
And like note that we still have a A+ rating. Okay, all in favor? Carried.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
It's been better.
I will.
If please, the court will file you, you want to go to, our Dorsey? Okay, we'll go to item 12. Consider the new roof on the jail, 315 Cliff Drive. Basic idea, Q, Don Dorsey. We have that proposal, I believe, in our
Is
packet.
it in there?
It should be.
yeah.
Good. This is colored.
Everybody get one?
There's one.
Yeah. Ms. Paul. Okay.
Let's put repair the roof on the new jail. It's actually the new roof on the metal. Repair the blisters that are on the flat roof, and then put a new roof over flat.
20% savings in just your head. By putting these two roofs on, compared to what you're running around there.
How much is that gonna be, how much insurance is gonna be attributable to that?
How much what?
Insurance.
Your insurance company will pay for it, will pay for it all. We actually pull any money from the county to pay for the claim itself, but for the.
This second roof gone for last year, it's still gonna be a membrane.
Yes, it'd be a 60 mil membrane, TPO. And you'll have an insulation package underneath it. Okay. Still gonna fix the main blister that are leaking up there, but then we're gonna re-roof over this.
They're also going to put down, put pad trail on to each one of their.
Right, you'll have a walk pad.
Yes, and then where
So
you're,
we'll be away from
there
that
won't be anything on top of it. But also you'll have
Little drainage pipes.
range pipes will be picked up off of there, they'll be sitting erupting on the roof too. All that'll be done good, it'll be some flashing up there,
There'll be, yeah, you'll
air
have
conditioner and everything.
new pipe, air conditioner.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have to pull the metal roof off either, go over it.
There'll be an insulation package under it,
Underneath it.
and they'll put the metal on top of it.
So the metal insulation and metal.
Yes.
Sandwiched. And that way you don't have to, you know, if you're gonna take a roof off, you're not messing with anybody, and doesn't matter officers. We continue working. You know, and that's probably,
Weight or anything.
no, this is actually going down, or how we put this on, is into your beam. They can carry this weight. We're not actually gonna attach anything to that old metal roof. We're gonna go to the beam that are supporting it and attach that. You will probably during the process, in the front, when we do one, we do a metal roof, I'll have half that parking lot cut off. And then,
They'll bring a machine out there to actually manufacture the tin to go up on there.
it'll be manufactured on the block. We'll have to ship it in.
Yeah.
And that way you get the, you know, you got the right size, and you're not relying on them make the rush.
The custom builder right there for you, and that way it saves time and money. So
Who's doing this work?
I'll have 6 months instructors do it. And I love it. That's a year.
So we got a 20-year warranty on it.
You'll have 20-year manufacturer warranty.
But we need to get that inspected every so often to keep that warranty here.
The way it reads, they'll do their initial inspection. It's usually at 15 years, they'll want to do another inspection. During that time frame, unless you have a problem, this will get a big health form or something like that, it needs to be re-looked at, then they'll do it again.
So on the last page, you got, where the, what's the total square foot of this? I only heard it on the last page. Maybe it's on that email.
it's a lot.
56, a lot, 57, technical measure, about 45,000 square feet.
Bill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that, so I was looking at that bid, he said, more house.
Of course, that includes
But, sidelines, right,
613,
right, is that the square?
that's including, that's your curvature, square foot of curvature, that's also including your waste.
The waste, right. Okay, so, that's
Figure weight is what, 10% now?
10 to 15. I mean,
Just need to go on the site, because they pretty much customize those pieces.
Well, that's on the TPO.
TPO.
Okay.
So we're getting that less than $10 a square foot. I think we put it on
Oh, yeah. building.
Going back to the size and.
Well, the quality, kind of like we're also over there, which so we couldn't do it. Well, we're also getting a really good deal on this because it's the same thing we just did for the arena. We bought a bunch of the materials that arena put on it.
So this is price, it's two roofs. The arena's roof and this one also get the price break on some materials for
Well, we're getting a better price break on this one here because we did it. We're buying from the same manufacturer.
It's the same type of roof out there.
On your flat. The only difference is on your, between the two, is up to 80 millimeters. It's in that membrane. But with the insulation package, there's no way to slope it. She's not figured in to have any kind of slope or drainage. No, it's still, so have your drainage. But it's flat. Pretty much it.
I need you to.
But, it's loud. It's loud. The roof we're putting up there is with those insulation packages. Better way to say it. It's almost like you're getting a Cadillac deal there. Okay, because if we're able to get enough money from insurance to pay for it, we're looking up that insulation package. And get you more cost savings.
And it's, I would say that it's been a process with the insurance company getting to this point.
That's been a process.
Started out a little lower than it.
No, I would say quite a bit.
It was a package job instead of a.
Yeah.
What was it? You remember? What they
Original
said?
number was in 60-something.
317,000, and so now they're.
Well, I think they initially started out at something like 60,000.
60-something.
Well, they want to keep that.
Since we have gone back and challenged the insurance company, since we have put a lot more dollars in the county than we had expected previously, so.
Numerous times. Yes.
We sent 3 different adjusters and an engineering company out to keep that. Before they finally settled here.
Well, what did you say the savings was gonna be with that?
You're gonna get about anywhere between 20 and 30, right in that range, probably about 20, I'm thinking like 22.
We use the.
On your energy.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That will offset the water.
Yeah, I'll send the water charge.
Good package.
What's the likelihood we're gonna have change orders?
We don't have to change.
Guaranteed.
Now,
You won't get it cheap.
We saw several.
well, but you won't get those change orders for me, those are longer driven change orders, they weren't change orders driven by inflation. In the middle of something, you find something else you want to do, then fine, you can do a change order. But I will not drive a change.
Have we settled up with you on that box down in the restaurant?
We're going to price the economy.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at plastic top. It's expensive.
I didn't like the price of it.
It is.
Very well, so I thought, probably might want to look at a marine grade rifle or something like that.
I'll see if we can get one price, and guys can get a price on fiberglass.
Or concrete. Concrete. Like a counter.
Which would be heavy.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
Not one.
But yeah, we're not, beach and chill, harbor, no, it's gonna say a little bit more. That, it's all the plastic up. That kind of rocked me back.
Well, I went 3 different places to get prices on that. I can get different differences. Just a half-inch thick, that size. So it's like
$800.
maybe 120 pounds or something like that. To the top.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit out of push.
But the price for Monty Johnson was supposed to go back to the exact amount it was.
It was going back to Marine grade. It was back to Marine plywood, put some runners underneath there for
What's there is part of it,
and also,
and it wasn't laminated on the underside either,
right,
which might have helped that lot, if then both sides laminated.
maybe, there's just a lot of moisture that you have in that area. It also included this, close, cell phone installation, put in that hole, keep that moisture from coming up.
Until we have to dig it out.
Until you need to get back in there, you could dig it out. The way not concrete, not permanent yet.
And you could put sand layer, cement on there and seal it up, like you do under a bathtub.
Could, I still think you
Just bust it out there, you gotta get back in there.
right. It's the same thing, basically the same thing phone, do it in a lighter way.
That bid was $11.50.
Yeah. That's a good phone, you don't have to put the phone back in there at all. You don't want to do anything, you change that top on the replacement. Go to ring rate, make that underneath of it. Reline top.
Any other questions with regard to the, basically I do ID's proposal, schedule scope of work with regard to the law enforcement center roof. Yeah,
I got one question. How long is it gonna take from start to finish?
Depending on the weather, depending on rain,
2-week period
I
or?
don't know, you're probably looking at 30 to 60 days.
We've got 120-day with the run contract.
A lot of it just depends on rain, wind. You're trying to lay that flat roof. It needs to be a calm day. Same way working that metal.
You were saying you're
Commissioner Ryder, services, board oversight on the whole project.
We like,
We got someone else.
Right.
What I say, I don't want you. Don, he's not doing pretty enough here. Mr. Don. Yeah, I'm sorry. But would you do that? Yeah. So we got someone to sign that.
I didn't think you were talking like you were looking.
I didn't. I was thinking about that roof being put on that jail.
That's all I got.
You get a good question.
Don,
Oh, it's wonderful. Hey, Don.
Coffee. What's the board's pleasure here?
so to get it done.
Okay. We have a motion by Rick,
this is all insurance.
second by Wiley,
Yeah, insurance money.
to move forward with the repair, replacement of the roof at 315 Cliff Drive on our law enforcement center. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Yeah, something like that. We got the.
Take it up.
that
You do number 11.
Yeah, we'll do that.
To accept that.
Since you've got, we have, I guess we've got a document we need to execute.
429.
With, oh,
Like we got the execute.
Of insurance.
Okay, let's move forward to, okay,
Don, did y'all cover those bonds and insurance on the
Yes.
street?
Yes.
They don't have to have it. It's
I
uncollateralized.
bonded, right, okay, for all that.
We got that on file.
And I will, when we do it, get the bond in, they'll get a copy of that bond.
one of the benefits of using it. A lot of others, we don't have to advertise, we can do it on paper.
Item number 11, consider Nexus Lexus contract for county attorney's office. This is an item that we're going to have Chris Marion and our Lexus rep, please. Take that name one more time.
John Doria.
John Doria. Yeah. Doria. And we filled it.
D-O-Y-E-N. I'm the local representative with you, based out of Fort Worth. And I'm responsible for all the law firms in the state and local government from here to New Mexico and to Colorado. And so there's kind of a twofold reasons to be here today. One is to answer any questions about the content. If y'all will think of me perhaps as a librarian, what's in the library, what would be the tools that the counselor will be able to use to pursue his duties in representing the county. And the second reason I'm here is that this is the delightful part of the job for 18 years is to watch a counselor take public office and do things. And so among the time I've been here, I've been fortunate to know many of the state district judges, and I even have a woman that I helped as a private practice attorney. She's now on the state Supreme Court, Judge Deborah Levin, Fort Worth. So this is the best part of my job. We're going to do starting off, get ready to start.
Very good. Mr. Barrett, what would you like to do?
Well, what I had originally requested from the auditor's office was to kind of get an idea of what was available and what I could receive from LexisNexis that would make that office work a little bit better, be a little more efficient, and be able to do the research I'm going to need to do, especially to prosecute criminal cases through your court, Your Honor. And so when I spoke with LexisNexis, the representative gave us a number of packages that included some of the things that I needed. Some of the things that are on this list I really don't need, but they come in a package format, and this is something I want him to be able to address. But mainly what I was wanting to do was be able to look at the criminal guide that they have, be able to research the criminal law and make sure that what I'm telling the court is the up-to-date law. And if there's any questions that come from the county or the Commissioner's Court regarding employment or any possible violations by police or the Sheriff's Department, to be able to give answers back on those things with the current up-to-date law. And that's really what I was wanting to focus on. I know that Mr. Miller I don't believe had subscribed to LexisNexis the last year or so. I just wanted to get that back into place so I could more adequately do the job.
Just a question, Mike. Let's say we're hiring an employee. Can we use that, or can we run somebody for us?
As a background check, using the personnel search that they have, yes, we can do that. Law firms in other counties.
That'd be good. We're not doing this. We don't have
You can do that. The other thing that I was going to use it for is it also would help assist with finding people for, say, hot check money or for warrants out of the Sheriff's Department, Police Department. We'll be able to run them using any information that they have. You can look at who they're related to. You can look at their past addresses and anywhere that they would currently be living. It can give you a really good idea of where that would be, especially if it's local. Hopefully clear out some of the warrants that we have and be able to up that money that comes in from hot checks.
The packages that we now have, Nexus Lexis includes the district attorney,
I believe so.
district judge,
I know about the district attorney. That was something I saw
county judge. Do we have that for the law library?
We used to. We're paying everything out of the law library fund. But I think we did have it set up where if there was a lawyer that was here and needed to go in and use it.
for this additional service, we're looking at $90 in this total package.
To the end of the year, if there's no charge, and that billing is $232 a month for 12 months, and do that up to 3 years. One thing I'd like to mention to elaborate on public records is that this is a flat rate, it is not a transactional public records tool, so that when you put a search on a business or a person or a particular piece of property, it saves it. And so each week or every day, if you want, it will rerun the search automatically, so that if you're looking for someone who moves a lot, it will find them when they turn on electricity somewhere or they start with a cell phone. And so if you want to reach folks, this is the best service for cell phone numbers, because landlines have dropped about 25% in the last 2 years alone, and it's rapidly dropping. People aren't using landlines any longer. So this captures cell phone data so that you'll be able to keep track of individuals that the county needs to talk to.
Is there a usage report done on this LexisNexis?
There is a usage report, sir, but it's like a percentage of how much time the attorney spends on the whole system, like 25%.
Not a specific report.
No, but there is a history of what searches are done for up to 90 days.
So we can tell how it's being used.
Certainly.
Can that report be printed off and saved as a hard copy or saved as an electronic
Of
copy?
course, yeah.
So
You can just,
if we needed to, we can go back and see exactly how this is being used.
Mhm.
There was suspicion of it maybe being used in the
In
first
fact,
manner.
That's good. You can do that. You can take a picture of it. There's also a folder capability that you can save to put it into a folder as well. So you can print it out directly, or you can just do it.
Chris, I'm just looking at text about.
Oh, absolutely.
How far do you think you're behind? Let's say that Joe Smith moves to Austin, Texas, and rents an apartment, gets a cell phone. How far behind are you? 2 weeks, 1 week, a month?
With cell phones, I don't know exactly the answer to that, because I'm not sure of all the different sole sources that they collect the information from. But just recently, I was at Decker Jones in Fort Worth. They do a fair amount of collections on behalf of other corporations, and they said in their evaluation on their renewal contract that I did, that the cell phone service was within about 2 weeks.
That's good.
Okay,
That's really good.
but that's based on what a prominent law firm is using it all the time now.
And that was 2 weeks and 1 week.
232, that includes the whole full package.
Yes, sir. It's the entire research package that includes all the legislative, administrative, the codes, the case law. There's a product called Full Jurisdiction Shepherd, so that you can look up any case that anyone sees.
It's a big, this package.
Yes.
Can you explain something? It's
Sure.
kind of abbreviated.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
The last ones.
The last ones are.
It's Texas.
Yes, within this package, and I don't have a way of showing it online, but I can tell you what it is. It's TX, briefs, pleadings, and motions, and all briefs, pleadings, and motions. And then the TXMB, that stands for Texas Matthew Bender. So briefs, pleadings, and motions, what that is if when a law firm submits a petition to the court, it's captured, it's a public record. And so attorneys can use that to see what other law firms have used in the past with cases that they're citing. It's a time saver and also lets you know interpretations of the law. And then that we have it for Texas, and then it's also all briefs, pleadings, and motions, which is for all 50 states. So that, let's say that Young County, for example, has a unique situation that comes up, and they want to see how to respond. They can type in the fact pattern of what the problem is and see what another law firm has done someplace else and submitted to the court. It is very effective. It is a pretty new tool. It's been around for about 4 years. And so it's...
So these other law firms, they just enter that data on their own pleasure. They're not liable or forced to enter what they've done. They're just making a suggestion.
It'll have like a specific case or just a specific code that they decided to as to why that law firm's point of view should prevail. So it's very useful in determining what other people have tried and won or failed with.
Is that a voluntary submission?
Or is it voluntary? Since it's a public record, we gather that data from the courts automatically.
So you're putting it on the, it sounds like a blog almost, where
It
there's
could
a specific discussion about specific.
It could be, because a lot of the information is drawn from a service called PACER, which is all cases that are filed in federal and state court are recorded, and so we pull that information. Now, we don't literally pull every single motion that's been filed. So what they do is they pull like the most recent 2 years, because, well, for example, in criminal cases, a DNA test law, case law from more than 2 years ago is not useful anymore. It needs to be this year. What's the law interpreting now? So it's just a quick way. It doesn't do anything but just help you determine what's the best point of view right now.
And so it's kind of a peer review kind of thing.
Well,
And how did you handle this situation, or what would you suggest? Does anybody out there had this problem?
that's how the counselor would interpret it, that he can actually see what another firm has done. And so it's been used pretty effectively, especially in areas where there isn't a lot of case law to support the position that the law firm wants to take. They can see how other people have fared with it. You had another question about TXMD. What that is Texas Matthew Bender. That is all the Matthew Bender books for Texas online. And Matthew Bender is a law firm publisher. It's been open over 100 years. They have a few items like some of the attorneys will use Rosano's Litigation Guide or Kendrick's Transaction Guide. Well, you have those specific titles, but what this does is it gives you the additional titles that are online, so that you can do everything from accounting to real estate. It'll have for example, it'll include criminal. We have the criminal law, but that will include Gary Trippers. He's an attorney out of Houston that offers the defense and prosecution of drunk driving offenses. It's the best law book available for prosecuting and defending DWI. It'll also include a new book called Texas Wind Law, which is the energy is coming out. It'll have the real estate guide. It'll have the oil and gas practice guide, so that, let's say there's a royalty issue, you can look it up and see what the law is. But it's the full Texas menu to have it. I might say that for an attorney that has this menu in private practice, it's almost $800 a month. And we have several attorneys, and I have in Amarillo and Lubbock and Fort Worth that do this in private practice. And so the state rate, the government rate is really great. But it's used, of course, for the county.
Is this more than a county attorney fee?
It's actually right on par. I just did this for Llano County just recently, and this is the menu that they put together. It's a base menu for all county attorneys across the United States with Texas-specific materials in there. So you'll see a little bit of federal, and you'll see a little bit of state-specific, like the litigation guide for Texas wouldn't be useful anywhere else but here, but it is very useful here. And I might mention that the courts of appeals, any cases that would go to from the county, Eastland, Amarillo, Fort Worth, will be very familiar, if not already using these particular products as well. Because you have to think in terms of like, if it has to go to the appellate level, what happens next? Well, you'll be on par with them too.
The access point will be a specifically assigned computer.
Yeah,
In his office.
the public record specifically will be linked to a computer that only he uses.
$246 is an unlimited searches.
Yes, it's included in that 230, the 232,
239, 240.
Yeah, it goes up a few dollars every year. But he'll have the exclusive, and he'll also have a seat for a legal assistant too. It's one attorney, one legal assistant.
He has to do a password. His assistant have background checks or anything, or it's just up to his.
It's he will direct them.
He has the authority to password.
That's correct. He will. There's a form that he'll fill out that will give a specific IP address. So if he signs on, for example, with another computer, it's going to ask him. If there's some checks and balances for that. For example, I have an attorney in Arlington that had his turned off last month because he was on vacation in Italy. And one of the laws that our government has is that you can't access the system from overseas. So his ID was turned off. trying to do a little work on vacation, but his office called and said, I'm sorry, that's a no-no, you can't do that. So,
I'll go with it if it's gonna help others.
And you're not gonna charge anything till the first year.
yes, sir.
It's gonna help prosecute criminals, and it's gonna increase our DWI prosecution. I'm all for it.
Chris, if you have any trouble maintaining those 90-day laws of activity in the system?
Well, I don't think there'd be a problem with that. I'd have to find out from them how
Yeah,
exactly to do it, but I'm sure you probably just do a print.
Screen print or copy paste to a file folder, but I will come out and I'll train him personally.
Is that a rolling 90 days?
Yes, it is. There is software available that you can buy that makes it indefinite, but I don't think that's a little extra.
If it was just a matter of once a quarter downloading the activity from the previous quarter, putting in an electronic file of some sort, so that we could go back and check it. Same thing, security camera video, whatever.
And the searches are based on permissible use. For example, you have to sign in each time specifically say what the searches are for. I, for example, don't have a working logon. I will never have a legal permissible use. So when I train, I have to use a fake thing that we put into the system to show how it works. Because I can't do anything with mine.
Is this money already in there?
All of these are paid out of the law library budget, and because the fees were up, that's a balanced budget, and so yes, there is enough money in the expenses to pay.
So it is budgeted for.
If it's there, let's do it.
In there.
I mean, it's something that's gonna help prosecution. Put criminals in jail.
You got that motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll say. And that is to authorize subscription to LexisNexis for use in the county attorney's office. Is that the accurate? Including the legal background check, public records, okay. All in favor? And this cost just come out of law library. Any opposed? No opposed. Okay, that's a settled. Don?
Well, thank you
See
so much.
you again. Thank you.
I'll be back to train, and if you have any questions, I'll be
Do you have any problems here entering into this contract with, now, Mr. Barron being named as Young County Attorney prior to the election?
Well, it says on begin date of amendment.
To contact,
Yes, it's
got in contact with this county attorney. Well, so,
But he'll be the one
I
signing.
believe Commissioner Schwartz done the one that's got that part of the contract, but that kind of thing.
I said we violated the contract for putting him as county attorney prior to him becoming county.
When are you gonna start this?
He could have me out as soon as next week to show my life.
I don't think that it'd be a problem for you to do
I don't think they need to have the election work that way.
No one has left office.
Right.
I think it would be doing.
No, that's right.
That's the reason I said, if we put as the contact person, just put the county attorney.
And the date on this is 11/20/14, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
not even,
Are they on this 11/14?
yes, the date,
So it's-
beginning date is
Fine.
11/20/14.
So it's okay today, but executed on the 14th of November.
You understand why, don't you?
You want to amend that motion and make that date in your motion?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's gonna be effective 20th to 20th.
No, it says,
November.
but it just says 11/20/14, so just the
11/20.
month of November.
Okay, 11 and 14, November 14.
Election is like that. We'll make that note in the.
So after that election, we can send you a right.
Are you
Elections
immediately
campus
taking
on the 17th is what that was called, was on campus date, so 18th is when I'm actually.
Yes, right. That became.
I got you.
And before we leave this topic, I want to make certain, obviously, for the, since the, this is going to be available for use, we've already said, starting in the law library is the Lexis search for like case law, that sort of thing, is that going to be limited to just my computer, or would it be available throughout the courthouse?
This ID log on will be limited to just your computer, because your log on will have a specific drop down bar that goes to public records. So just, and an assistant that you might, set up.
So the ones in the law library won't have as much access. And I don't think it should, because if they're gonna be attorneys and they want it, I think you should get it yourself instead of us having to write it.
Well, that's why I want to make sure that it wasn't going to be.
I think they've done away with it in the law library.
I don't think there's actually,
It's
we did away with that in the law.
it's not there anymore.
Good.
I think we're just looking at this.
Yes.
We're paying this much, I think, for other attorneys.
Very well. Okay, let's move. Thank you, John, very much for your information. Let's move, if you will, while Chris is still here, Mr. Barron.
All right, well, excuse myself, gentlemen, have a great day.
Let's move to this discussion and consideration of general policy matters regarding government offices. Commissioner Wiley brought this to my attention a few weeks ago, that we had, by virtue of the adoption of the 2009 budget, made a general policy, I guess, matter, decision that affected the county attorney's office, and that is in the ability that one would have to operate a private practice or anything like that. I know we've had problems before with that, made the use of that ability to be misused in some instances. And I think that prompted the change, but the change occurred very suddenly in the adoption of the 2009 budget. Mr. Barron brought up some issues that he thinks he wants to address the court, and the court may do alter the policy that it has inadvertently set the adoption of that budget. So, Mr. Barron.
Thank you, Judge. Of course, as I had the opportunity to speak with all of you regarding this matter, I appreciate all of you talking to me about it. The policy really comes down to that in many courthouses, that if the county attorney, under law, he is allowed to continue to have a civil practice along with practicing as a county attorney. And many courthouses allow the county attorney to practice out of the facility of the courthouse themselves, rather than having a separate facility that they office out of. What I want to do, and the reason that I wanted to serve as county attorney, is to be the county attorney, not be an attorney that also is the county attorney at the same time. I believe that the people of this county deserve a full-time county attorney, and someone that's going to prosecute and to work for their interests mainly. The issue that would be is, and I've been very open about this, I took this job because I want to take this job, but I'm also taking a $20,000 pay cut to take this job to serve the people of Young County. I'm going to need to make up that income. What I do, a lot of my job, is to assist other organizations in the state, such as CPS, as well as the Office of the Attorney General. I do a lot of work for kids, I do a lot of work with baby dads. That is considered outside work for purposes of practicing under the code. What I'm asking for is for the commissioners to reconsider their position on allowing practicing out of the facilities here in the courthouse. I am not looking to spend more than, say, 5 to 10 hours a week. I understand that this was abuse in the past, and I apologize. Even though I had nothing to do with that, I apologize for the person that did that. I think that was wrong. If you're going to be the county attorney, that needs to be your major focus, not running around the state doing other things. So, what I'm needing is to be able to use the facilities here. As I've stated before, and speaking with several of you, I am not interested in using the county's computers. I'm not interested in using anything except maybe the fax machine, like, get an incoming fax. But I will provide all my own equipment, my own computers, scanners, printers, so that there will not be a use of the county facility other than just basically a place to put things. Any work that goes on, I will of course pay for, or will come out of my own personal time or budget. I'm not seeking to abuse the position. As I said, I know that it's been abused in the past, but I would ask for commissioners and the court to reconsider that policy and allow me to be able to practice out of the courthouse. Conversely to that is if that policy isn't changed and I am required to have an outside facility in order to have a secretary, in order to have all the utilities, in order to pay rent for that facility, it's going to take, I've sat out the pencil to it, it's probably going to take at least 20 hours or more per week to do that and to be able to open that kind of facility and maintain it. I don't want to have that kind of drag my time and take away from doing the main job as I see it as being county attorney. So I would ask you to consider that and to allow me to practice out of this room.
And you know, I've visited Chris. I think that my concern is to make certain that the taxpayer is not being asked to subsidize your private law practice, and that the job of the county attorney is your focus of your attention. I have no problem with you conducting a private practice, like I said, so long as there's no subsidy by the taxpayer to do so, to take phone calls and do those sort of things, as long as we're not paying for secretarial staff, office equipment. Use of a fax machine to me is insignificant, unless of course it's abused. Any of these things can be abused. I understand why these situations exist. As you go west in smaller counties where there's fewer and fewer practicing attorneys, it's more difficult to find a successful attorney with a practice that wants to become the county attorney. And those were designed for good purpose. Of course, the situation here arose because of an abuse of the county attorney's office. Actually, like you said, it was more of a private practice with an addendum of the county attorney's office attached. We just need to make certain that the county attorney is where your focus is at, and that your practice is truly a supplemental practice to your engagement. Therefore, so like I say, I would consider that we modify that somewhat. That we continue each budget year to have a discussion and address the operations of the county attorney's office in those regards, and just have a frank and open conversation about it, but allow you to take your phone calls and do your work that you've been doing for. Is his work with CPS going to be a conflict with the county?
No, that's going to be all
A different deal.
I don't think Mr. Barron can probably do any criminal work.
No criminal work, and to just address that last issue, the county attorney, in order to receive the state supplement, they have to choose either to represent the state in CPS matters or in juvenile matters, one of the two. Mr. Miller and I am going to continue representing the county in juvenile matters, so without election, then I'm able to do the CPS work. So.
And I don't have a problem with it, like you said, and I'm sure you spend more than 8 to 5 in your office.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, there's going to be after hours and he's going to be up there. He's got a cell phone if he has his private practice work. And I'm sure other attorneys that have been county judges have used that too. So
The 8 to 5 thing is not, he's not being elected to an 8 to 5 40-hour week.
no, he's not. So I mean, I so
Do
I'm with it.
you have a problem with the specifying the work as far as the CPS and the 2 or 3 that you mentioned?
Well, I do, because if say someone comes into my office and says, look, I need to have a will done, or if I need to have a simple trust done, those are simple things that I don't do on a regular basis, but certainly I wouldn't want to turn those kinds of work down. Somebody comes in and says, well, I have a really simple divorce, we have no kids, no property, those kinds of things. I certainly want to do those kinds of things. I am not looking at, not at drag out 4-week-long jury trials with $1 million estate kind of divorce, but if someone comes in and they have, a simple adoption, step parent adoption, those kinds of things, I would be very reluctant to put down on paper specific things because I don't really know what's going to walk through the door. But I really want to impress upon all of you that, I'm looking at taking no more than 5 cases a month, period. I mean, that's really what my goal is. A very small side practice to supplement my salary that comes in so that I don't take such quite a hit on the reduction of salary. And I think that's important.
How do we intermingle, or how would the intermingling be with the staff and counties pay, subsidizing that staff, and how would that accounting be?
Well, once again, I'm going to be providing all of my home equipment and things like that. The only thing I'm really asking is if a fax comes in, and they take out the fax and hand it to me, somebody calls, say, hey, can I talk to Mr. Barron? That's all I'm asking for. I'm not looking at this time for a secretary, full-time legal secretary. If it comes to it where I need a secretary, I will pay that person probably after hours on an hourly basis out of my own pocket. 1099 wouldn't have anything to do with the county at all. So I truly want to keep my law practice completely separate from my county duties because I don't want to be using your computers or other facilities to that effect.
That paid assistant would be somewhere other than your office here at the courthouse.
Well, if I brought someone in and they did work for the county, it would be an after hours type deal where I would pay them for after hours type deal.
Okay.
And that technically would be 1099 if you provide all the equipment
Right.
and everything, because that was our issue before. We had a part-time person who was supplying all of the equipment, paying them 1099, and that was not legal. But with them providing the equipment and everything,
I think Chris is smarter than that, than he's going to go. So.
I'm just saying that would be legal to do that.
Right. The only thing that I would ask is if since we're having a flat rate, not for being able to track anybody down, but on case law, on LexisNexis, something to that effect, I would ask you to do that since it's already a flat rate anyway. Probably do it once or twice a month, very little, but that would be about the only thing that I would ask besides the facts.
Well, that again would be one of the principal reasons to keep that 90-day report, so that you could show us that you're not, doing more private practice than you are trying. And that would be a wonderful proof source for them.
Absolutely, and I know that y'all have never worked with me on an individual basis before, but I believe I have a very good reputation for honesty and forthrightness. And I want to be as upright and forward with you gentlemen as I can be on how I want to run this. I'm not looking to disadvantage this.
Well, you already worked for the county somewhat, and I think he's done a really good job. So.
Court's information, I believe it's in Texas Government Code 41-31 on the limitation. I believe that's the correct number. There is a limitation in that compensation area that does limit a county attorney from having private practice. And I believe that's going to be at 80% of what's known as the benchmark salaries, which calculates out, I think, to be about $113,000.
And if the county commissioners would be glad to raise it to $113,000, $114,000, we can avoid this whole situation.
We can do it with private practice. You'd be glad to have it.
I would be glad to take that approach as well. So.
And again, that's been increased the last few years. It used to be 80 until just a few years ago. Increase.
Doesn't have nothing to do with the size of the candidate.
Absolutely.
It's amount of compensation.
It says we can't do it.
Legislation changed it. Legislation changed it.
Yeah.
And it's based on amount of state. Like I said, if you don't want to take that matter right now.
I mean, it'd be like, I'm saying that I can't. Nothing business.
Okay. As a matter of item number 13, the change of general county policy. Y'all entertain a motion?
Let me ask this before we do that. This can be revisited at any time along the way, right?
Sure.
I mean, if something develops, we can revisit it and hopefully would not arise to that in
You
itself.
know, we could have done that a long time ago, but it's been the, I guess, consent of the court from, I guess, day one of the Young County's creation, the county attorney operating private practice out of that office. And there's been certain circumstances where there's been other private businesses that have been operating out of county offices. And under conditions where, you know, it was fully taxpayer funded for private business, and that's where some of the abuse came from. I'm sure why this got changed, and I was on the court when we did that, and I actually don't remember. I remember vaguely discussing that, but I don't remember that happening. So, Commissioner Wiley, he brought that to my attention.
Well, I felt like, you know, it wouldn't be fair to come into office not knowing what's going on, so.
And I have to say, I did research that a little bit, and I checked, and folks out this, and I wasn't aware of that because it was part of the budget, and I had thought that was the policy.
Repeat.
Does the courthouse actually have operating hours, so to speak? I wouldn't want to see his clients coming and going, you know, after hours.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have one. If I wasn't
It's
saying,
locked up at 5, supposedly, 5:30.
But if he wants to stay in his office and work up a wheel,
Yeah, I had no problem with that.
I said our neighbor,
That's where I'm going.
Well, even the juvenile probation, they'll take care of the 7 o'clock.
No.
The election commission's gonna have a key in the courthouse, and it's gonna have a key in their office. So the person, I don't think they're
Not that I know of.
not
Not that I know of.
restricted in when they come there to order. Might even knew they had it in the office at the time.
I certainly, I mean, I understand, I certainly wouldn't want to have clients warehouse out.
I'm not going after normal working hours.
would you have a problem with having a 6:30 appointment?
He's gonna have to let them in and let them out anyway, so.
Yeah.
So they do lock it.
Doors wide open.
Yeah, but
All the doors.
this is all locked up, and the juvenile down there stays open 6 or 7, but if he had somebody come and nobody's here, you'd have to let them in, you'd have to let them out.
Normally, the courthouse doors are locked somewhere between 5:15 and 5:30. Unless somebody's function.
I had no problem in changing that policy to allow the county attorney to conduct limited personal law practice while he's county attorney in the courthouse. As long as it's not subsidized over taxpayers.
As long as it's like it says on the code.
I'll second it.
Okay, we're going, is that, are you comfortable with that, Mr. Barron, to allow them to private use?
Sure.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
I just,
So, opportunity, that's here.
Okay, we're gonna have a general policy change then. In the county attorney's office, to where, the county attorney will be allowed limited use for his private practice. Utilizing his offices.
Nothing there. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Get on Mr. Gold.
All right, we're part of it. Appreciate it,
Motion
gentlemen.
for recess, 10 minutes.
Okay.
I promise you won't be disappointed. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, let's come back to order. 10 minutes after 11 o'clock. Monday, September 22nd, 2014. Okay, I'll,
Financial report.
Oh,
we'll just, financial reports, okay.
okay,
We have director, financial.
yes, I presented you with August. Everything looks good. The ag at the time at the end of August had 332. Today in September, we have 2942. So Cheryl's going to talk to you about what we need to do with that. Everything else balanced and looks good. This will be the last report until we close the year out. But fund balances are still looking good, $7,251,915 overall for cash.
We'll have a better year this year than we did last year.
Hope so.
Out here.
Any questions?
Is there any question?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Rogers to approve, file the financial report. Ms. Van Day, our treasurer, all in favor? Aye. Carried. Number 6, any budget amendments? No budget amendments? Item number 7, payment of outlay.
We have a few. Total is $153,073.60. And of that, $141,231.40 is out of the general. So your biggest part of the precincts are very few.
So much more vouchers.
Motion from Commissioner Wiley, second from Commissioner Rogers to approve the vouchers payable as presented. All in favor? Aye. Carried.
And I had a small invoice from Guardian. This is to fix something on the thing in Jim Ross's office, is that correct? That little $22 bill, $20.10.
No, that's for key fobs and key cards for access.
Keep
Fobs.
how much?
$22.10, and since we take on the other courthouse stuff out of courthouse security, I requested to do that. It's from Guardian Security Solutions.
So moved.
Great. Who was that?
Stacy got it. His guy.
I'm not gonna rush through that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Rogers to pay for repairs to the security system and the Justice of the Peace Precinct 1 office to be taken out of the courthouse security funds in the amount of $22.10. All in favor? Carries 5-0.
And that being said, in the ag barn budget, or the cash, what we have in there is $29.
Mr. Durham should rent this month, I think, Cheryl.
Yeah. Which shows you have $337.
Yeah,
Now,
but
we paid,
that's August.
we paid bills, so as of today, 29.42. I think we do have the bills for this month paid. But if he has one coming up, maybe it'll
Yeah,
help.
we asked him to start bringing this money before the event rather than after, whether he does.
We'll see.
Probably, Orange probably does. Because that's kind of all of it, they're still, I don't think they're responsible. And they're, his, maybe we'll have none for the bills next month.
Ms. Lauren Sullivan, item number 8. Election of judges and alternates.
This is just to supplement the judges that you all approved a couple of weeks ago. There were some holes in that. I talked with Fran and she has not provided me with any more names, so the names in boxes on the, I gave you earlier, are the ones that we need to approve.
Jackie Deere, Gina Wendell, Peggy Stevens, Larry Morgan, Junior Matney, Donna Bailey, and those are going to be your alternate judges, is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
So moved.
Very
So we're not getting any on the Democratic side?
good. Well,
Some of those are Democratic,
Junior Matney,
Junior, Jackie, Peggy, Larry, are the Democrats that I've got, and then the ones that don't approve were Democrats. But there are a couple of holes that I just haven't plugged in.
Just because? Okay.
And like I said, I've ran more than a week to give me more names, which is more than I'm required by statute to do.
They just early voting only, is that, she has that?
She does, she does a lot. She's actually wanting.
Carrie Bird. Carrie.
Okay, good one.
we have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, or second by Commissioner Rogers to accept the alternate judges as presented by Lauren Sullivan, our DA, and to formally appoint the same as alternate judges. All in favor? Okay. Get this done. Next, item number 9 is to consider Young Soil and Water Conservation District annual contribution of $3,000. I think that's going to be pursuant to our ensuing budget, is that
Yes,
correct?
I think it's the same.
We've got that budgeted.
Been that way every year, every year. So moved.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Marcus Rogers to approve that contribution pursuant to our 2015 fiscal year budget. All in favor? Carried.
You want to do that, something you did?
Okay, that's gonna be contracts for CareFlight and for Air Evac. Make note that those contracts are in the packet. I believe the CareFlight is the same at $11, is that correct?
Yeah.
The Air Evac has gone up from $40 to $50.
And I'm looking, we did budget a little bit more in there, I think $7,200 or something budgeted. I think it's gonna be enough to cover.
I think those contracts, they both end the last of this month.
I think that's right, yes.
Like September 30th, is what it said. It does say though, this work year, that for next year's purposes, October 1st, 2015, it will go up to $12.
I believe they also have an added benefit on that where a family member can add, if their expense add those provisions on it. I think that's pursuant to either one of the contracts.
I make a motion to accept those contracts as presented.
Second. Mr. Side? Yes, sir. We have a motion from Commissioner Wiley, and a second from Commissioner Sipes to enter into the contracts with CareFlight and also with Paramedicare or Air Evac for provisions of air ambulance services for county employees, and all in favor of that motion?
So,
And that's what we're doing.
And also, I think I talked to you about this the other day, maybe on this, because we have employees that'll hire on and you can immediately fill this out and send their payment, well, they may not stay. So we have a 60-day waiting on the medical insurance, and I was
let's do the
wondering if we
same.
could put a 60-day on this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I say that we do it.
I think it'll, because once they get the membership, it's good for a year, you pay the full amount, but if they're only gonna stay 2 weeks, then
I noticed there's a lot of names on this current list
It's not there.
that's not there.
yeah, and she'll redo that, because I don't think we have to have that new one in, and we're paying until after the 1st of October. So that's what she was telling me, she's working on it constantly, because nobody going, so she'll have it on. So right now, there's about 118 on Care Flight and 114 on Airback, because some people already had it for something else, so they're working on taking counties, and that's good. But if that's all right, y'all just tell her to go ahead and start doing the 60-day waiting period on this.
We want to add that in the motion, make that,
And yes, that'd be great.
Yes, it says.
make that on the 60-day waiting
Okay,
period.
our waiver policy,
Because they're not on their insurance for 60 days.
Okay.
I will amend that motion where we need to have the same waiting period of 60 days for the care line as we do the medical years. I'll rescind that last vote.
Okay, we have.
Do we need to rescind,
For the amendment?
do we need to rescind that, or do we, or for us to complete, start over again? Or?
Okay, rather than that, we can do that. We can rescind that. We got a motion to rescind.
Yes.
I'll second.
Second by Side. Okay, all in favor of rescinding the immediate pass motion with contracts for Care Flight and Air Medicare. All in favor? Okay, now let's start over again.
Make a motion that we do the same 60-day waiting period for care flights as we do our medical.
And accept this contract.
Accept the contract.
Got a motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Sykes to enter into the contracts subsequent to the first day of October 2014 for air ambulance services for our employees, and that be subject to an individual enrollment for the 60-day waiting period. That work? Okay, all in favor? Carry. Now, here's the latest draft map. Maybe just burned off.
I said no action.
Everywhere you end up, put it on. Here, 6 degrees, green up.
Yeah, y'all had more water north in the county than the state area.
I'm getting a little short right in the middle again, but you know, I don't have anything more.
Where you're at down south.
I got lots of rain.
And you have lots of rain.
Here come a young flood up north of there. We got 6 inches Saturday.
I didn't get a heavy list. Okay, take no action on item 14.
No action.
Okay. Does somebody want to adjourn?
So moved.
Any of you that don't want to keep your bound copy of audit, I'll take them, because I want people to send them to.
All in favor? No.
We have requested.